Hey everybody, it's Sean. I'm here at Prus Pets. I know it's a day late, but this is your Animal Facts Wednesday. Technically, we're doing it Thursday this week. It's been a busy time here at Prus. I've been helping out kind of all over the place. And today, instead of just focusing on one animal fact, I'm going to kind of go over a whole bunch of stuff. So this morning, I helped them open up the department, which is a pretty big deal. If you've ever taken care of an animal at home, you know that means they have to regularly make sure that they have food and water, that they're comfortable, that they have enrichment, which is things to help stimulate them mentally and physically so they don't get bored, making sure the cage is really clean and making sure you interact with them. Well, here at Prus, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of animals. So each morning in the Reptile and Small Animal Department, we actually go through and we make sure that everybody has their enrichment, has their food and their water and everything else. So we're actually here sometimes 3 or even 4 hours before we open in order to make sure everybody gets what they need. So this morning, for example, took care of the ferrets. They had to get new litter pan substrate because they go to the bathroom a lot and they like to back in the corners. They had to get some fresh food and fresh water. We changed some of the bedding out. And ferrets are super active at different parts of the time during the day. So they like to sleep a lot, then they start running around a lot. So sometimes taking care of them can get messy because they randomly decide that they want to tear everything apart in their cage. Like they tore apart one of the litter pans back there already. But that's kind of a normal thing for them because, you know, they're mischievous, to say the least. We also have tons of small animals here. So we have guinea pigs, we have hedgehogs, we have hamsters, we have rats, we have degus. Sometimes we have gerbils and chinchillas. There's a lot of things here, and they each get their own specific type of care. So the ratties, for example, get a very specific type of food because rats out in the wild are kind of scavengers in a way. They're always looking for seeds, fruits, nuts, basically anything that they can nibble on. They're mainly an herbivore, so they're going to be looking for basically vegetarian type food. We have degus, and degus are kind of an interesting animal. They look like a giant gerbil, but not really part of the gerbil family. They're kind of like their own little thing. Extra chonky, they look kind of big and they're fun to deal with, and they have a very specialized food as well, and then they also get hay, which most of our other rodents don't get any hay. We have lots of hamsters here. Most of the hamsters are hiding because hamsters don't really like to be out during the day, so we're not going to disturb them. But we do have lots and lots of different guinea pigs. You can see a couple of our guinea pigs in there. A third one's popping their head out, checking everything out. They got fresh food, fresh hay this morning as well as fresh water, and had their water bottles cleaned. And then their cage gets cleaned as needed. So it looks kind of messy here right in the front, but that's because that's where they're eating and they're spreading their food all about and it gets munched up. But for the most part, they have a big long enclosure. It's pretty clean in there. It's a lot of responsibility to take care of pets. And I've done a lot of videos on giving you animal facts and a little bit on what it takes to take care of them. But it really is a big responsibility to want to take care of these animals every single day. I mean, we think of them as little family members. Come here, buddy. Can we see ya? What are you doing? I know, I'm sorry I took your hide away, but people kind of want to see ya. I'll give you your hide back. We like to give them extra places to hide so they can get underneath that shelf. They also can get inside that house. We give them things to chew on. We give them lots of little toys to play with. So there's a lot going on. That's just with the small animals. The reptile department, it's all these cages and a bunch more behind me. So we have animals from the desert, we have animals from the jungle, and animals from the forest. Each one of them gets special types of care as well. Today's a cricket feeding day, so any of them that are omnivores or any of them that are strictly cricket eaters or bug eaters are going to get their food today. And yesterday was a veggie day, which meant anybody that's also an omnivore, anybody that's strictly herbivore, got all their food yesterday as well. We do have some special guests here. So you've probably recognized Fred. Fred's acting as security guard this morning. We let him wander around. I've done a video on Fred before and red-footed tortoises in general. And it's really good to let these guys get out and get their exercise. So on mornings when we're a little bit ahead and have some extra time, we take Fred out, we just let him wander around the store. Fred's allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants, as long as he doesn't get into trouble. I hear earlier he was getting underneath some of Margie's carts and trying to disturb her while she was putting away some stock. But for the most part, he just wanders around the department. We just let him get his exercise. Right, buddy? toughen up those legs. Now, there's some other animals in here that you may not be aware of that we carry, and that is our invert section. We have tons of spiders, we have scorpions, we have cockroaches, we sometimes carry beetles, we have millipedes. There's all kinds of cool stuff back here. And these guys all have to get special care as well. This type of tarantula, the Metallica, for example, this one lives in kind of like a jungle type area. So every day we got to make sure that that cage gets misted down and holds lots of moisture. And then she also gets fed a couple times a week. We got to make sure that the food's actually being eaten. And you may not know this, but we can actually kind of tell the health of a tarantula by looking at them. So a lot of times what we want to look at is this abdomen right here. And if that abdomen starts to get a little too skinny, that means that that tarantula needs to gain a little bit of weight. This one's okay looking. It's about what we'd expect from a wild tarantula. Usually ones in captivity are a little bit thicker, kind of like how our cats and dogs sometimes get like a little bit of extra weight on them. Kind of same thing happens in captivity. So it's one of the things we always have to watch out for, is making sure our animals are healthy. So we kind of regulate the diet of all the animals here. So although we feed them, we go in the next day, we check and make sure there's no leftover food or anything else. There is leftover food, then we have to assess whether that animal wanted to eat and why it may not have eaten the food it was given, or was it just given too much food. So there's lots of kind of cool things to go over. I mean, we have all kinds of dart frogs here. Like right here are Philobades terribilis, which these guys are the most toxic animal on land on the planet when they're out in the wild. In the captivity though, we don't have anything to worry about. We feed them crickets, we feed them fruit flies, and we feed them springtails. So because of that, they don't have any poison. They normally get that poison from the food that they're eating. Since we're feeding them non-poisonous food, nothing to worry about. We take care of live plants here. So we have a few different greenhouses, and we also grow plants all around the store. So we gotta check on the plants as well. We have all of our baby dart frogs down here as well. Make sure that they get their care. We have some of the little tiny ones in there. They're not even the size of my thumbnail. So there's a lot that goes on each day. And so although I've done a lot of videos giving you some animal facts, I figured this would be a good chance for me to kind of tell you about how to take care of animals and how much work that goes into it. Because when you take an animal home, you're taking home a family member. Doesn't matter if it's furry, feathery, or scaly. That animal is now part of your family. And so you got to make sure that you're giving it everything it needs in order to feel at home and safe and secure and also enriched. So hope you guys learned a couple things. There was a lot of animals that we looked at with a few little facts, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done here every day. So I hope you enjoyed.